Hi, it's Sue here. I'm going to be doing one of these videos every week, and if you want to make sure that you don't miss them, please do sign up for my newsletter at suefitzmaurice.com, and then you can hopefully make sure that you get it in your letterbox every week. But I will try and pin it to the top of my Facebook page. What I wanted to talk to you about today was the three of the most important and biggest obstacles that we have to achieving our purpose. And they're probably things that you're not aware of, and they are things that are very misunderstood, and they are anger and guilt and judgment. So let me talk a little bit about those. Judgment is one that people are talking a lot about these days, and there's still seems to be some confusion about what we mean by judgment. So there's a really important difference between judgment and discernment. So I can discern that someone, let's say, I can discern that a particular man is not a good person for me to be in a relationship with because he has a history of abusing women. That's a discernment. It becomes a judgment when I say, that guy's an asshole and I hope someone strings him up by his bollocks, okay? That's a judgment. Now, as soon as and hopefully you can see the difference, because one of those is just kind of without emotion and factual, and the other one has a lot of emotion attached to it and a lot of negativity attached to it. Now, that negativity may well be understandable, especially if you're someone who's been abused, or someone you know has been abused, or your child has been abused. You know, that can very easily produce that kind of response. But if we're talking about being able to connect to our purpose, and to do that we are connecting to our spiritual self, then anything that has that negative emotion, where we're putting that negative emotion onto somebody or out into the world, then that is a block to us. Now, it may be justifiable, but it is blocking you, okay? So if you're letting that kind of a judgment become a regular part of your life, then it's a block to you being able to connect to your spiritual self and therefore to find your purpose. So anger obviously is quite similar. Now, I can also understand, let's look at how this can be confusing and complex too. Let's take the current Syrian refugee crisis. Now, we can all feel very justified and feeling very angry at well, a lot of different groups and organisations and governments that have created this situation, and we don't need to delve into the political complexities of that right now, but we've all felt angry, especially when we see, well, that particular photo, you all know the one I'm talking about, that really was a turning point for the way the world responded in recent weeks to the crisis. Now, I can choose, though, not to be angry. I can donate money to Red Cross, I can write to my own government, my local parliamentarian, I can write to other kinds of organisations and lobby them, I can go on a protest march, I can have a refugee in my home. There are a huge number of things that I can do as a private citizen to try to impact positively on that situation. But anger is not one of them. And the reason is because, again, I'm putting out a negative energy into the world, and there's certainly already enough of that. That's what caused the Syrian refugee crisis, and I'm creating anger within me, and that is not good for me, physically or emotionally or spiritually. So I can respond positively without being angry. Now, a lot of us hold on to our anger from past events from a long time ago, just as we hold on to our judgments, particularly about things that have happened to us in the past. And none of that serves us at all. So these are things to really work on letting go of. The third thing I talked about was guilt. Now, here again, there's some really important understandings about guilt. A court of law will decide that a person is guilty because of something that they've done that's against the law. And it's a legal decision, and it carries some hopefully appropriate consequences. Okay, so there's that kind of guilt. And then there's the kind of guilt that, let's say, one of the broadest kinds of guilt, the one that mothers have so much of because of all of the things that we haven't done that weren't perfect. There's just no value to carrying that around, okay? It gets in our way as parents, actually. It stops us from being a better parent when we allow guilt to impact us. And, you know, if you have teenagers, then you really know about guilt because they can lay it on you. But you know, it serves no purpose to us, and it blocks us again from being able to connect to our spiritual self and to our purpose. Okay, so 3 really big things. In next week's video, I'm going to talk about the things that we can do to rid ourselves of this judgment and anger and guilt. Okay, thank you.